Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake.
I didn't hear you. Oh, she's Blake. I was thinking it was a guy.
You get that a lot. Especially in the South.
Never used this one before. Where's the mute?
Should be on the bottom menu. Just a little microphone icon.
Got it.
We'll give everyone a few more minutes.
I have John Willie with me in my office.
I couldn't get it ordered.
You have John.
Yes. Stacy gonna get on?
I don't know, unfortunately.
I haven't heard from her today. And Gabe's on. Tony's on.
Talked to her a while ago.
Okay.
Didn't really bring this up.
Looks like we're waiting for Susan. S. Walters.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Susan and Stacy then. Phil will not be on the call. He had another commitment.
Ah, I was excited to meet Philip Space. It's a great email.
Don't be. Yeah, I just got a text from Stacy. She's having trouble getting on.
Tell her she can come to my office, Dave.
Okay.
Possibly.
Is that Stacy?
No.
All right, I'll text her back.
Is it a male or female?
All right, I gotta ask, which one of you has a father named Dave? Nope.
Yeah, I don't know, unfortunately.
We had a gentleman named David Ratchford, and I thought his daughter worked for K4 Connect.
What's his last name?
His last name is Ratchford. I'm pretty sure she's married. She had a baby last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. Well,
Oh, no, you're fine.
I don't know of a maiden name Rat, but there could be one. Find out for us what her position is or what her
I
marriage.
thought she worked in sales, actually.
Well, there's 3 girls in our sales team.
I think that's Stacy.
I think that's
Yeah.
Stacy.
Now I'm wondering because I feel like I should know this.
So we're waiting on one other person?
Well, somebody just joined from a local number, and that could be Stacy. Or actually, Dave, you know what I think?
I just joined. Was I supposed to call this number?
Yeah, that's Susan.
That's Susan.
That's Susan Croca.
You can't hear me, can you?
You did well. Today's just a discussion, so you don't have to join via the computer. We always have a display or a presentation to share in our discussions, but we can share that afterwards if you want it. But today's primarily a conversation. So
Okay.
phone is fine. Yeah.
It's open.
Text Stacy.
All right, Stacy's with me now.
Okay.
Okay, she didn't text me back.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Oh, light keeps going out.
Hey, you said it right.
Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Not muted. Well, I'm not muted, but I said it real soft.
All right.
Perfect. Yep. Here again.
it, or you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you kick it off?
All right, so we're just going to go over what we have for you guys and then ask you some questions so we can get you all set up, make sure you have everything you need, make sure we understand the processes you currently have in place and how we can swap those out for K4 and make sure we're meeting your expectations or surpassing them. So we have Lindsay, who's your account manager, on the call, Taylor, who's going to lead the project, Ryan is going to assist with Taylor, and I will be doing your implementation. The agenda today, we'll just go over exactly what K4 is, discuss the network requirements, cover your existing systems and processes, do a technical discovery discussion, and then go over next steps. I'll let Lindsay take it from here.
All right, awesome. So we're going to get into the weeds of what we're deploying, exactly how it works, show you a demo when we kick off training, which is the next time we'll talk. So today's call is really for us to understand what you use in your community today. You've been invited because you are part of the project team. So Rob has told us team members at each location that's going to be helping us with the deployment. We had some of your team members fill out essentially our contact onboarding form that designated some of the roles of which you play at your community today and how you'll be helping us with the deployment of K4. But long story short, just so you know really what we're going to be working towards ultimately is we are prepping to deploy our app, K4 Community Plus. The app image is there on a phone and a tablet, or maybe that's an iPad. But we have a web-based app and a mobile app. Essentially, I understand that is going to replace Breezy. So we'll talk about that. And then we also are going to be deploying our digital signage system, which is that preview, that image in the center here. There's a slide about group fitness. And it's also my understanding that with that, we will be replacing TouchPen. Okay. We also need to talk to you a little bit about your resident channel. So that's kind of new news to our team here, our operations team. But your growth director and Rob did confirm that we'd like to walk through the current network setup and capabilities so that we could confirm if that would be an option going forward. Essentially, if you're replacing Touchtown, our thoughts are to give your staff the best experience and help improve their workflows, we need to replace it all. So that includes your resident channel and any digital signage location. Any questions about that so far? Everything else on this screen comes with our K4 community operating system, but you are not contracted for it right now. So no need to worry about anything else you see here. But that will be what we're talking about today. No? Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. So I'll start off with just telling you a little bit about our network requirements, and then I'm going to transfer it over to Ryan to add a little more detail and start asking you a few questions. But as you know, for an app, residents download that on their own devices. So there's not a ton we need to worry about there as far as a network goes. Now, our mobile app goes on smartphones, tablets, iPads. Our web-based app is accessible through a browser at k4community.com. So our goal essentially is that your residents, or we hope that your residents have some sort of Wi-Fi in their apartment, or their devices are connecting to some sort of internet so that they can use that primarily. But of course, there's also data plans they could connect to if they have that on their own. So not a ton to worry about with the app. Digital signage and direct broadcast. And direct broadcast is our product offering that essentially means a resident channel. There's a little bit more there. So for starters, we do require that you have a community network for our K4 SSID. So we will ask that you set up a separate SSID for K4 community that expands so that it can connect all of the digital signage locations that you have on site. So those TVs in the common areas, those will connect to like a little mini computer that we mount behind them. And that mini computer connects through Wi-Fi to our K4 SSID. We'll send you this flyer, it's just a screenshot on the right, but we will send you this network requirement sheet. So you can always ask us questions or reply via email with any other questions that come up.
So just for quick, the only reason we need that SSID is for the digital signs, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. It will be locked, so it's not like your residents are going to even have access to it, right? We'll give you a username and passcode for it. Now, direct broadcast, or your resident channel, is a little bit more particular. Ryan, do you want to, I wrote some notes down here, but do you want to talk about what we need there?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, our direct broadcast system is output in HD, which means you would need to have a modulator on property with an HDMI input. Some of the examples of modulators would be like Radiant or ATX modulators. They also need to support your Dolby Digital and AC3 for sound. Do you currently have modulators on site with your system with Touchdown?
We do, but I believe they are property of Touchdown.
They are property of Touchdown. Okay, so you,
Gabe, I thought we purchased those.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was thinking we own those too.
Yeah, I cut a pretty big check.
Yeah,
I'd have to check, or if you can get me in contact with the right person. Actually, I take that back. The ATX I think came from Spectrum, because they're the ones that came out and replaced the ATX here a few months ago when it was not working.
that's what I remember.
okay, and it has an HDMI input on it.
I would have to double check on that. I believe it does, but don't quote me.
All right. Yeah, if you can confirm that for us, that'd be great.
Gabe, check that.
Is there any other questions you have in regards to direct broadcast and replacing that Touchdown system? I assume it's one system inside your MDF.
Yeah, it's not even inside the MDF. It's sitting in a vacant room across the hallway from me. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's just one system though.
Okay, no problem. Just if you can just shoot me a picture maybe of the modulator and just get me the serial, not serial number, manufacturer on it, just so I can take a look at it as well.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys might get a ask from Rob, because we brought it up when we first confirmed that, or we first were informed that you guys have a resident channel. So pictures help. If you take any pictures of that comm room, any of the hardware in it, just helps us confirm what we're looking at and that you have what you need. And then just send us the resident channel number too, so we know if we are setting it up, we'll need to know the destination, which usually is just the resident channel number. Do you play DVDs through that channel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions at this time for that. Do you, Ryan?
No, you are playing DVDs. Do you know the input, the output of that DVD player to that modulator?
I don't know.
I don't.
You can confirm that for us as well, whether it's HDMI or whether you're using component cables or some other connection.
I want to say the DVD player is built into the server for Touchdown,
Okay.
because that way, if we used like a remote DVD player that plugs in, then the system can't control when it starts, and we had to manually press play. So I believe I bought a DVD player that's in the server that is just built into the server.
Built into the Touchdown server?
Yes.
Okay. If you can snap a picture of that DVD player as well with the model number, so we can take a look at it and figure out what the input coming out of it, or the output is.
I think Gabe just ran across the hall to do that.
Okay. That's quick.
Speedy. Love it. Awesome.
Hello?
Well, we'll keep talking.
Yes.
Obviously, this, once we get
Zoom?
some information from you guys, we might need to follow up
yes.
with a separate quick call just to confirm or ask any remaining questions. Obviously,
Well, it
you
got
might have
pressed?
questions for us as well.
Yeah,
But I think this
it
gets
was an
us
accident.
started.
I'm fine here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
What?
next slide. Right. We have questions more related to content. So, and if you don't know the answers to these, we can always follow up via email with others as well. But generally speaking, we want to know how you use them today. So, for digital signage, for your resident channel and your digital signage through Touchtown, it would be helpful if you can send us a copy of any current digital signage slides that you have published to it. We just want to see, an example of what the design is, make sure that, if you have brand standards that you have to meet, we can help you ensure that that stays consistent across the transition. When we're unplugging, theoretically, when you unplug, like literally unplug Touchtown and plug in us, we don't want there to be a lapse in that information for your residents. So anything you can share with us about how you publish information to Touchtown today, what that information is, would be helpful. Is there somebody on this call that can share that with us?
Yes.
Yes, awesome.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I create slides on my computer, on my iMac.
Excellent. Okay.
And will I still be able to do that and then put them on the channel?
Yes. So you'll be just creating slides in our system instead of the one you currently use. I'm assuming you're creating the slides in Touchtown, is that correct?
No, I'm creating them on my iMac and saving them as a PDF and then putting them on Touchtown.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine
Will
too.
I be able to do that?
Yes, you can upload PDFs to our system. You can also upload from PowerPoint if you prefer that. That's absolutely fine. Hopefully we can also convince you to use our templates and designs as well. It might be a little bit easier, but you could continue with the exact process it sounds like you're doing today. But if you could send us an example of some of the stuff that you've made, you can email it in a PDF or image. That would be really helpful for us just to look at. And you can send that to Blake. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you also make the monthly activity calendar?
I do a calendar, but it's not on Touchtown. I use a software that's called Fork Express.
Okay.
On my iMac, and that's how I create the calendar.
Okay.
And then I save that as a PDF. It's 11 by 17, so it's not really it's really not in the format of the TV,
Excellent. That's fine. Are you able to send us your calendar for August?
I can, yes.
Perfect.
Oh, shit.
All right. And then what about your menus? Who creates your menu?
This should be menus.
It's usually Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin? Sounds
Yeah,
like
I think it's Bill.
Bill? Okay. Is Bill your director of dining?
No, Bill's one of our residents. We send the dining director sends it to him, and then he puts it up. So one of the things I think the staff actually does not do a whole lot of input into the current Touchtown system, but I think that's going to be changing a lot with K4 Connect. I think the staff's going to be doing a lot more information sharing than because it's always been a resident channel, and staff assists. But I think with K4 Connect, it's going to shift a little more to more of a staff function, and then residents assist with content.
Excellent. That's good to know. That's very good to know. So do you have like a core resident technology group or that manages this today?
So it's Susan, Bill, and Phil.
Susan, Bill, and Phil. Well, that's easy. Okay. Blake, jot that down. We might want to talk to Susan, Bill, and Phil, the three musketeers here, and just make sure that they feel that they're not, completely getting the rug swept out from under them by losing these capabilities in this current system. or process. And we could still, I mean, there are ways to still keep them involved if you want to. And of course, that's a, decision you guys have to make. But that's helpful to know. In general, we'll want to know, the only other thing with menu is, and if you could just give us the contact information and we can reach out to Bill, we will want just an example of what his menu looks like. Some communities have a daily menu, have a weekly as well. Sometimes it comes from a separate system directly. Other times they make it. So we just need that. And I think that is our last question about content.
Well, I think a lot of it also is going to depend on your setup. So with Touchtown, our setup is very limited as far as what we can actually put on a screen. So if your content is able to be delivered in a different format, then our slides are going to look totally different.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's why, meet and exceed, right? I want to manage expectations so that we are at least mimicking how you're doing things today, not adding more work to you, but we are going to improve as well. Absolutely. I mean, our tool was built and developed specifically for senior living communities. So everything you see in K4 is specifically for a team like yourself and residents, in your community. So the way that you guys will be managing information, even creating calendars, and not to scare you yet, but we do have a process in which it should save you a pretty drastic amount of time by using our system instead of what you're doing today. But we'll talk and we'll make sure you're trained, and obviously it's a journey that we're on together, so we'll make sure everybody's comfortable with it.
What was the name of the calendar software that's used?
Are you talking? You're talking to me? Cork. It's called Cork Express. It's
Pork like a pig?
And publishing software.
I think it's Cork with a C. Is it Cork?
Q-U-A-R-K.
Oh, okay. We were not even close.
I thought you said about the bacon you had for breakfast.
Pardon me?
I thought you had said Pork Town.
Or Q-U-A-R-K. It's a software that is used in advertising and publishing.
Perfect.
Oh, shit.
Thanks.
Shit.
Thank you. Do you also
Shit.
use them to make a newsletter? Do you have a monthly or weekly newsletter that you guys do?
No, I don't do any newsletters. No.
That might be marketing too, and we'll make sure they're involved. But that sounds great. I mean, in general, it sounds like anything you do today, we can replicate. You can take PDFs, you can take images, things like that, upload them to our system. You can also create from scratch in our system. So as part of the training process, after we kick off everything, then we talk about how you're going to use K4. We'll show you how you do things in our system, and then that'll give you the option to continue as you have been or improve, with us together and roll things out. I believe we're hoping to completely deploy K4 Community at your location in early October. But that's our goal right now. That's fluid. That could change. But just a heads up. For now, you don't have to share any information with, residents or family members about what's coming or what we're doing here. We'll help you with all of that. But in general, when you do communicate with residents, I assume you're doing that through Touchtown and Breezy today. Is there another method that you also use? Do you have a website, or do you primarily communicate with residents through your existing systems?
So we communicate through Touchtown, but then also we do community meetings. We just had one on Friday, and we introduced that K4 Connect will be coming and that Touchtown will be going away, and that there'll be a lot more features than we currently have. And
okay. What was the vibe? How did they reply to that?
There's an app.
Yeah. Okay, so the usual. Got it. It's okay. Do they use Breezy a lot today?
Not here.
Okay.
Breezy was never fully deployed at SMC. The campus that has the most deployments, WRMC, because it was a trial thing and they didn't want to launch it company-wide. I think we had, 5 of them here? we only had a few people, and it was more for cognitively impaired.
Yep. Okay. All right. Got it. What about your families? How do you communicate with family members? Do you do like mass emails or mailers?
We do constant contacts. We do one calls, which obviously one call wouldn't suffice to try to explain this, but we do constant contact emails.
Okay. So there's a family app too. That usually is a bigger hit at first.
Yeah.
You know, resident app it picks up momentum, but initially you will get some interest by families. All right, great. Any questions for us? Right now? Yeah.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
This all sounds really exciting and new. The system that we use now, the Touchdown, if you want to find out something that is on the TV, you have to watch it all the way through to find what you're looking for. Is there a way with this new system that there will be a menu that you can click on and get to a certain spot, a certain information that you want instead of listening and watching the whole thing?
In our hub, you will have access to a playlist. So the short answer is yes. You'll be able to see an image or the display that in order of how it's being played on the TV, and you can narrow that down by TV or destination. So if you just want to see something, you want to see what's on the lobby television, you can narrow that down and see a list of everything that's currently playing at this moment in time or in the future.
But if I wanted to see what the menu is for the day, would I be able to find that menu for that day?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As a resident, as a user of the app,
without watching the whole thing.
If you're a resident, if you're a staff member, you're going to have access to the hub. You can see everything that you published in the hub, but we're also going to give you access to the resident app so that you can see what they see, how they see it. Okay, and we'll explain that, but I think that's usually really helpful for staff. As a resident, our recommendation is that you'll have the menu on signage, but if you don't want to wait to view it, because you don't want to sit there and watch the slides, scroll through, you will then also have the menu in the app. So if you're a resident and you're looking for something specific, you're going to be told to use the app first.
Okay, good. That sounds good.
Okay, good. Good. A lot of these, you'll get a lot of questions. We have FAQs and best practices we'll be sharing with you guys. Definitely feel free to email Blake any questions you have now until we get started. And then obviously once we get started, all of our calls will be recorded. So if you can't join every single one, you can always watch the recording. And we have resources available to you at your convenience. So it's not going to be all one-on-one in groups like this. You're going to be able to do things at your own time. Blake, can you go to the next slide? So this isn't just a preview of an app. Just a reminder, we have a version for residents and a version for families and friends. You will have both, okay? When we go live, we'll go live with both at the same time. All right, next slide.
What's the difference in the family app and the resident app? Is there much of a difference?
The resident app has a little bit more due to HIPAA. The family app is a little bit more restricted. So, for example, in the resident app, you have a full resident directory. That is not accessible in the family app. You also, as a staff member, have the ability to decide what you push to which app. So you might think the menu information is helpful to both, so you publish to both. But there also might be a notice only for family members, and you only put that in the family app. You do not share that to the resident app as well.
Are we going to use a resident directory, Tony, on this app?
You have to. I'll answer that for you. Yes. In order to get access to the app, you have to be a resident at the community. So you are going to have some sort of directory, but the amount of information you share in that directory is up to you.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. All right, next slide. And then this is just an example of our digital signage. I told you there's a little mini computer. We call it a Nook. That's going to be mounted behind your TV. It's a little bit bigger than like the size of an Apple TV box. But it is very easy to set up signage. It's not that complex because that's the only hardware really that you need. We will confirm how many you're getting, but I believe that was based off of how many you have today. And of course, we'll share with you instructions for installing them, but they come pre-programmed, so it is pretty much plug and play.
All of the touchdown.
An example of an image or slide that you might share to it. All of this, again, just to reiterate, you can upload a PDF and display it on the TV. You can upload a PowerPoint, display it on the TV, or you can make it in our hub. And you can choose images, colors, designs, text, etc., and push it. And it also can be printed. So whatever you share digitally could be printed if you want it to be. All right. Next steps. We want to confirm equipment. We need to huddle internally and just confirm what we heard from you guys today. I know there's some items that you are going to send to us, and so once you get that sent over, we'll be able to draw some specifics on the timeline for deployment. But we are looking to deploy by early October, if possible. I will draft up a work order from there that your administrator and Rob will sign off on. That just confirms the timeline for deployment and when we're going live. That's when you guys will be re-notified, and then we'll schedule a kickoff call to start training.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for today?
I got one question.
Yeah.
I have a resident that's blind. How will this benefit her?
Is she legally, some legally blind residents still have the ability to see, and they use systems on their computer, for example, to still be able to use a computer that blows it up or reads it out loud. Do you know if she has anything like that?
But she has, what she's talking about, she does have. So.
Okay, then she
has some sort of program. So my thought is, I've seen this work well where they have that program on their computer and they can still use our app on their computer because it is compatible with it. Now we'll have to dive in once we deploy it. We'll test it and make sure that that works for her. But she likely will still be able to use our app on her computer. In addition, we do have a module for voice. So we partnered with Amazon and we have Alexas that can deliver a lot of this information through voice. You're not contracted for it, but I would argue that it'd be something that you should try for this resident and potentially proceed with.
I think she's got that, so we should be good then.
She has an Alexa?
Yes.
Oh, nice. So we could talk about this. Again, you're not contracted for it, but we could talk about enabling her with our public skill, which would give her some access to some of this.
Good.
Okay. So keep that in mind and remind Blake or I along the way so we don't forget about that, but we'll definitely try it.
Okay.
So, Lindsay, you're saying that we did not contract for the public skill for Alexa?
Correct. But maybe we can throw a Phoebe in there for you to try. We'll talk about it. You have access to the public skill. I didn't say that out loud, but you have access to it because it's a public skill. But we'll just definitely see what we can do. I mean, we're all about helping everybody. So
is there a way to jailbreak it like my Fire Stick?
Yeah. Exactly. There are ways. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure that out. Okay. All right. We are over, and I appreciate it because this has been very helpful. But again, if you need anything, Blake is kind of your lead here going forward, but the rest of the team here that you've met, including myself, I'll be along with you through this entire journey, so you're never going to be able to get rid of me, per se. But this is your implementation project team. So if you need anything throughout deployment, don't hesitate to reach out. You can call or email. And thank you again so much. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.